here the Dvid is like simply it is one account for sign into or authenticate into many services. We call it is single sign-on. It's say for an example, if you have a Google account or Gmail account, you can sign in using the same username password to other Google services like Google Drive or Google Search. You can use them without any other different username and password. So one username and password and many services. That is the gist of this account or this service. And the other thing is this is actually connected to real individual, not for your particular organization. Say for an example, if you are you are a student of University of Peradeniya, this Dvid is not related to or owned by University of Peradeniya. It is owned by us. Us means learn. So it is connected to actually for you, real individual means you. Dvid account is you. You can later you can change your institution, change your affiliation, but your Dvid is remain. To successfully register for an Dvid, there are some requirements, mandatory requirements. They are like this. First, you have to have a valid student or staff identity card to obtain a Dvid. It should be from a Learn member institute. It can be your university or other research institute who is a member of Learn. And then you should have a valid national identity card or NIC. Here, when you are creating a Dvid, you have to upload the photos of these two things. Then you have to have a personal email address. We prefer personal email address, not an institute card. It's for an example, it's like Gmail, Yahoo Mail, like that. This will be verified when you are creating your Dvid account. And then a personal mobile number. This will be also verified when you are creating your Dvid account. And then we'll move to the Dvid services. Currently, we have this Dvid service catalog. It consists of Office 365, EduRoam, ORCID for researchers, Learn Event Manager, we call it Indigo, Learn URL shortener, Science Data, File Sender by Gyan, Jupyter Hub, ChemCompute, Data One, Ocean Observations Initiative, and EduVPN. Some of these services like this File Sender, likewise ChemCompute, you can access through EduGain. It will be discussed later. And this EduVPN is a VPN services. And here in my presentation, I will discuss about Office 365 and the rest of the part will be continued by Dvid. The Office 365, it is a very popular service which is hosted in Dvid. In here, we are providing Microsoft Office 365 educational package. Actually, it is A1 package in Microsoft terms. It includes only these online Office applications such as Word, Microsoft Excel, PowerPoint, Teams, OneDrive, likewise. There are nearly 24 apps, around 24 like that. And alternatively, you can sign in using your Dvid credentials into Office 365 mobile apps. It is also included in this package. Here you will be given this Microsoft Teams it will be a nice alternative to Zoom, especially the students, because the students currently do not have this Zoom accounts. And here also we have this the staff and student categories. Staff we called also faculty, and the student category is also in the package. So the staff members will get the faculty category of the Office 365 package, and the students will get the student category of the Office 365 package. Actually, it have very slight differences. Like OneNote, likewise. And this Office 365 account will be discontinued or will be expired after studentship or the institute affiliation is ended. If you want to re-enable that one, you have to you can request us. Then these are some specs or some facts about our Office 365 accounts. There you will get OneDrive, which capacity is 5 terabyte. So one can easily back up their laptop, entire laptop also to this capacity. So you will have somewhat big capacity. And the Outlook mailbox will be 50 GB, 50 gigabytes. And this Outlook maximum attachment size will be without uploading the file into OneDrive, 33 megabytes. So in Gmail, you know, it's 25 megabytes without Google Drive. So here it has somewhat high value. And when it comes to Teams or Microsoft Teams, which is a nice alternative to Zoom, this video conference software, you can use it either web app or web application or the web browser-based application or desktop application. And there the meeting time or the single video conference, the time limit is 24 hours. So one day is there. And the maximum number of participants are normally for meeting 300. And you can present there, or after uploading, you can present there PowerPoint file size, PowerPoint file of maximum size of 2 gigabytes. And this also support cloud record. You can record your meeting in cloud. It will be not actually recorded in your machine or your OneDrive space. It is another storage, and it will last up to 21 days. It means roughly 3 weeks. And also you can stream. There's application as Microsoft Stream. There you can stream. You can broadcast your meeting. So this is the end of my presentation, the brief presentation about this Office 365. And then I will move to some demonstrations about how to create an Dvid account and so on. I hope you can see my browser. Simply, when you want to go to this Dvid, you can type eduid.lk and enter. Then you will get this home page. Here I will demonstrate how to create a student account. You can create a staff account also. Click the student Dvid from this sidebar, or alternatively you can choose it from here. And here you have to provide your email address and a mobile number. Here I will provide this email address and mobile number. Mobile number, you should match it exactly to this this number format. It should be, this one is this country code. It's for Sri Lanka. Currently we have this only this country code. and please omit plus mark. Without plus mark, please enter without plus mark here. And there, if your mobile number is like this, please omit the 0 and then put 94 in front of your mobile number. And then click captcha, and it will say some puzzle. Then you can submit it. And if you successfully submit it, you will get this message. Like an email sent with instructions and OTP. OTP means one-time passcode have been sent to your mobile number. And please check your spam or these junk folders also for the email. Then click OK, and then go to your email. Sometimes it may take some seconds. See, now I had that link here. This one is the email, and it will have a link. You have to create, or alternatively, you can copy paste this link into your web browser's address bar. And keep it, remember that this link will expire in 1 hour. I will simply click it, and then you will redirect it to this page. There you have to enter the OTP that was sent to your mobile. This will use to have that 2-step verification. You know, nowadays Google and some other web services, you will have this 2-step verification, or some people call that one that 2-factor authentication. Actually, it is not. This is the most correct name is 2-step verification. I will type the OTP that was sent to the entered number. Then I'll click the captcha. Sometimes you may have a lot. Finally, I have done it. You may also have sometimes that kind of disaster. And here then, after successfully submitted that page, you will get the real form. This is here, create student edu ID. Here, excluding 2 fields, other all fields are required. Actually, that excluded fields are this personal email. It was already you have entered, and it will be given as a read-only field, and you don't want to edit it. And your mobile number, it is also a read-only field. Here you have to have your student registration number. As an example, I enter like this. I choose this as University of Colombo. You can have your own, and it will be different from faculty to faculty or institute to institute. And please, please exclude any brackets in your registration number. And then you have to enter the starting date. It can be your registration date or your starting date for staff, your starting date, your date of your employment. Likewise, please enter it correctly. As an example, I enter this one. And then you have to choose your institute from this list. All the Learn members will be displayed in this list. Here I will choose University of Colombo. And then your first name. Please give your first name and please give only one name. And then your last name. And then your national ID card number. I'll enter dummy number. You can have your here. This is for your convenience actually. Otherwise, if you have that 2 digits number, you can enter that one also. If you prefer capital V, you can also enter that one. And keep it, remember that please don't keep any spaces here. And then you have, as I said before, then you have to upload the images of the front side of your national ID card, back side of your national ID card, front side of your university identity card, and back side of your university identity card. Here each image should be less than 200 kilobytes in the size, and they should be either JPEG or JPG file. And here this is also some users have done this mistake. That's why I am remembering this. The NIC will be the same one that you have entered this number here. Otherwise, your EduID this registration will be rejected. So don't upload like here having this 10 digits one and 12 digits NIC. Here I'll for this example or demonstration, I'll upload some images. And here for redundancy and other information, other office purposes, you have to edit, you have to enter your home mobile phone number or a land phone number. Please have a separate one if you have, because it's we prefer it. It should be also in this format. This format it is mandatory to have this plus sign. And the other thing is like that sign up. You have to have this 994 at the front of your mobile, your number and the other digits, omitting the 0 in the normal number. And then your street number and your home address, their street number and your other numbers. And then the village or your some small city name, and then district. It is a drop down menu again, and there you can select your city. Here the default one is Colombo, and here this institute one default one is University of Peradeniya. And then I'll come to the password. Password, there are some requirements. its password should be at least having one number, one uppercase letter, one lowercase letter, and a special character which is chosen from this one. Have to have at least one of these categories, and then your password should be at least 12 or more characters in the length. So I'll have a password like this. And confirm the password. And then again you have to tick a captcha. Then after submitting form, if it is successfully submitted, you will get this message: successfully created your edu ID, and your username is, for a student, it will be like this: your registration number without those slashes, and it will be suffixed by the shortened name of your institute. Here in this case, University of Colombo, the shortened code order form is CMB. And an email is sent to your email. Click OK. And if we check our email, see you get your username. And your edu ID account will be activated within 48 hours. It means within 2 days. Or otherwise, you will, if anything is wrong, you will get in feedback referring to your mistake. Then for this demonstration, I will activate this. Before activating, actually here, then the second part of my demonstration is edit edu ID. There's a portal. Before your edu ID is activated, you cannot log this portal. Say for an example, if you this one. Enter to here this username and the password. Here you can't log. You will get an error message because your edu ID is not activated until right now. So I will activate it. Now I will activate it, and already it's activated. Now just see whether it's successfully can log. If I'm speed, please let me know. And here I will put the username and the password. And when you first log into your account under this portal, you will get that two-step verification. This is normally once a month. Then you will get the portal. Currently we have these 3 fields only. You can change your email address, mobile phone number, or the home phone number. If you don't want to change, you can remain the exist value. If you have changed something mistakenly, say for an example like this, then you can simply reset it. See that one is there. You can omit this one and then simply reset. Then nothing will be changed. Otherwise, if you have changed, you can simply submit it. That is how it works. And say for an example, if I change this mobile number, that was 44, and I'll put this 55. Then submit. Then it will be showed the message like profile change successful. And it will display the mobile number like that. So the fields like this email, mobile number, this should be unique. In the system, only one user can have this email and the related mobile number. There should not be any duplicates. 2 people cannot have cannot share an email or a mobile number in the system. And here in this corner, we have the number of users. Currently, we have this much of users for this for 4 months of time. And you can log out here. And then if you want to change your password, or if you have already forget your password, then you can go to this portal. Forgot password. Here you can reset. There also you need your email address and mobile number. Yeah, I'll put this one and put the captcha. And then it says that an email has been sent with instructions as before when you are signing up, and the OTP to your mobile. Then check your email. Here, actually upon activation, you will get some email like your Dvid is activated, and also it will be a message to your phone, SMS to your phone also. And then for the password recovery thing, you will get another email with a link. This will expire after 4 hours. So within 4 hours, you can reset the password using this link. It will also ask an OTP. If you did not get any OTP, then the better way is create another entry. It means just repeat the procedure. Say for an example, if you did not get any OTP or email link, then you can repeat the procedure. I hope up to now the process is clear. And if you have questions, you can ask.
One question. Can we change our Dvid username once registered?
No. You cannot change your username. It's unique across the system, and you can't use a username. You can't change your username. Currently, you can't change your username. It's only one time. You have to. Actually, username is actually for students. There's no much choice for username. Actually, it's like it's very relevant to their registration number. And for the staff, we have somewhat flexibility when choosing their username. Actually, they can choose their username. I hope you get the answer. Any? Yeah, non-academic people also can, but currently they should have some, I mean, valid ID or something like that to prove their affiliation with the institute. Otherwise, they also can.
So there's a question from a new member. I am a staff member newly joined to faculty. Haven't received staff ID yet. Any other method in obtaining Dvid?
Yeah, there are. Actually, you can submit some validity or some valid document or something like that. There we can evaluate that this kind of request actually at least case by case. You can submit some valid documents.
Can temporary staff create an account?
Yeah, definitely they can. And the thing is that after their temporary period is expired, their Office 365 account will be expired. Other than that, the Dvid is lifelong for all. The services can be changed time to time, but the Dvid, the account itself, the username and password and the credentials, those will be for lifelong, forever.
Someone is asking what are the other benefits of this Dvid?
Benefits means actually that services part that as I discussed, you can sign into many services or you can authenticate.
Can you go back to that slide?
Yeah. I hope you can see the service catalog. This one is also in the website, dvid.lp, under Dvid services. So these services will be authenticated via that one. And also I saw that someone asked the staff Dvid is also like this, basically like this, but it has some slight differences like here if I am having this staff one, actually the portal will be somewhat slightly different. Please wait, I'll demonstrate that for you. And here for staff, actually I have created one user and I have just changed their email and other things because I am reusing the same one. And hope you can see my screen in the browser. Then staff one, you can have the email like that and mobile. And there you can click the link once you get this one. Yeah, this is the link I got now for staff one, and again I have to enter the OTP. Then the captcha. Then the staff form is like this. It is slightly different. There you have to enter the employee number instead of the student registration number. There you have to enter the starting date of employment instead of the starting date of studentship. Institute is same, first name, those are same. And apart from the first name and last name, you have to enter the middle name also. And then you can have this username. You have somewhat freedom than the students, like you have the you can decide your username, but it should be unique and it should be minimum of 5 characters. And other numbers are same, and email is also generated, phone number is there, and these are same. Almost all the other fields are same. This is how you can have the staff account. And any more questions?
If the account is terminated, will they lose their data? If the contract period extended, how to extend a Dvid account?
You can extend Dvid account by submitting the valid documents to why we want to extend that one. Likewise, by this email, dvid@.ac.lp. You can alternatively you can call, but the document should be sent to this email. And for clarifications, you can call these numbers. And the other question is
whether they get their data lost.
When upon termination, actually before 3 months before the termination, we inform that part. Then you can decide accordingly. And there's something like 1 month grace period to settle down. You can in that month you can back up your data, and you can move to another system if you are not wishing to retain with the Dvid. Or otherwise you can submit valid documents, and you can be with a Dvid.
Then there's someone asking the difference between the staff and student accounts, or both are same.
You mean actually the Dvid account or the services?
Just in general.
In general, actually, that the form I have showed you, the differences in the form. Those are there actually in the Dvid account itself. Otherwise, there's no difference. But in the services, you can have some differences. It can be different from service to service. For an example, in Office 365 service, when it comes to Office 365 service, the staff account will be somewhat slightly changed from the student account. It means the staff account will have the ability to conduct quizzes like things, and it will have some extra applications like staff OneNote. Likewise, service, there are some differences in the services. Otherwise, almost same.
And then there are several students asking whether they need to include all the details to verify their studentship when they are signing up for the Dvid.
Sorry, I can't get it.
Some of the students are asking whether they need to submit all the details about their studentship to verify whether they are students or not when applying for the Dvid.
Yeah, if you have that student identity card, it's okay to upload the identity card, those the images only, but
Scan or
photo. Yeah, scan one photo, but if you don't have an ID, then you have to alternatively submit some valid and some authenticated documents.
200 KB not enough to upload a clear picture.
Yeah, actually, it's some people may have that one, but actually it's enough, because even you can Google search some images better, those ID images better than better images less than 200 KB. Actually, currently we have this number of users who have uploaded images less than 200 kilobytes, readable images. So one or two people, if they cannot upload that, they can actually they can Google search about good compression techniques, and somewhat you can use like Photoshop like applications. I think that's the tools or the resources are available, so you can go with them, because otherwise we do not have this much of users, successful users. If there's no way to upload such a readable image, or there's no way to compress such a image, so I think you can, that is a doable thing, or you can have some assistance from us also.
Someone is asking whether they can use Dvid abroad when they are doing travel.
Yeah, certainly, yes, they can use. But the thing is that there are some difficulties in the OTP sending ID. Then for the services, I think it's for services, because most of them are not those two-step authentication. So then you can easily use those services. You can easily authenticate it into the services, but your Dvid account is something like that. Sometimes you may need to edit something like this in this portal itself. You may have once a month you need an OTP. So if you are traveling more than 1 month, so you need to have your mobile number to get that message. Other than that, there's no any hurry.
Can we submit driving license instead of
currently you can't. Yeah, currently you can't. Actually, up to now it's very somewhat compared to other Dvid systems. Our system is somewhat in just initial state. So currently we have compared to other systems, we have somewhat limited facilities. So, but you can use that much of services that I have exhibited before. And for I can like here, this one is my account. I have I hope you can see you have this much of applications in your dashboard when you are signing to Office 365. And here for example, I'll sign out from my account, and to demonstrate to you how to sign in this one. Here, just search Office 365. Alternatively, you can sign in using this one. Here, our dvid.lk, there we have some sidebar icon like dvid services. There you have a service called this Office 365. It is a link, so you can click the link, and there you redirect to this portal. Here you can log in. Here for your convenience, I'll use a private window. Can you see?
No, share that.
I think now you can see. You can go to EduID, and then in the side panel, sidebar, you can go to EduID services. There you can click Office 365. There you will be redirected to our federation, and you can have the username password. Here I'll put this one, and username means here for our last example, it's like ending CND, that one, and at edud.lk will be submitted here, and then you can log in. There your panel will be, access panel will be like this. Alternatively, you can sign in to mobile also. Here, this is how you can sign in via our portal, and you will have the access to your the applications. Yeah, likewise, and there are here the user and your for an example, your username is like this. Then this will be completed at edud.lk, likewise. That here the here this one, yeah, this one. Here this for this place you have to put this one like this, and then the password. Then you can sign into this Office 365. And alternatively, if you use just search, and you can use Office 365 Microsoft portal also. They are there you can simply search like Office 365 and the login. There you can sign in. Now here is somewhat difference is there. Here you have to enter an email. Actually, that email is not that edud.lk. Here in this case, I'll use this username as dsw and at ms.ac.lk. This is your Outlook email address that is provided with this Office 365 service. Here you have to enter that one instead of eduid.lk. This will not work. See, it will not work. So you have to use ms.ac.lk. Then it will redirect to the same sign-in page that you have observed before. There you have to type the username and password. In the same panel, actually somewhat different panel. With the same applications you can have like this. Any other questions? Actually, many questions.
Can we give an international phone number when we are trying to register?
Currently, you can't. Up to now, you can't. You can't give an international country code.
If the student or staff are using their personal email addresses such as Gmail or Yahoo, then how to make sure that they are the student or staff from a learning institute?
Yeah, we can verify them actually internally. We are not verifying using your email address actually. We are verifying you other than not from your email address. Actually, we prefer private email address because it's always with you other than your institutional email address, because when you left your institution, sometimes your email address may be discontinued, because we also have some private institutes also. Some institutes, they have a policy to discontinue that email address after the person left the institute.
Do we obtain any email service when creating this like Outlook? Outlook.
Yeah. Here you will obtain this email service. Like here I have this Outlook. There my email address is this one. Here the email address and the email, the mailbox all are available through this package for every user, regardless of the user, whether the user is student or staff. So definitely you will be provided with an email address.
That international phone number issue, again, they're asking whether they can use the international phone number to register. Earlier it was like verification, this is registration.
Yeah, registration also you can't. Currently you can't. Actually, hopefully in future you can have that comfort also. Actually, I appreciate your keenness. You are having many questions.
Is this secure to upload files and documents? I hope this question is regarding Office 365.
Yeah, if I'm answering to Office 365, I assume that it will be for Office 365. Actually, it's secure. Secured by Microsoft. Actually. It's not our system. It's provided by Microsoft, and they are secure. They have the enough security.
Will the Microsoft email be created as soon as we log in, or should we create it in advance?
No, the account will be automatically created upon your successful activation. After the registration, if you get the successful activation upon that one, then it implies your email is also automatically created.
Someone is saying, I have a student university email given by the university. Do I have to register for EduID to get SSO?
Yeah, definitely you have to register. This is not by your university because this is by Learn, and this is like on demand. If one prefer to register, then they can register or they can opt out. Okay, the our time is actually also flying. So can I wind up the session and hand over to Helena?
Okay, thank you,
Thank you.
Thank you, Dishmanta, for describing what is EduID and what is how to use EduID in Microsoft services. Shall I share my screen? Dishmanta.
Yeah.
Okay, so plan is to discuss more on EduID services, the services that you can get from us, and then at the end of this session, we will have a small quiz where we will select 20 lucky participants who give the correct answers for that quiz, and Learn will provide a small gift for those 20 people. Okay, so the first thing from the EduID, what you get is EduROM. To describe EduROM, I will simply share a small video by the EduROM team, and after that I will show you what EduROM is and how you should use EduROM in your institutes.
Once upon a time, visiting another campus and getting wireless network access was a bit like trying to nail jelly to a tree. Actually, it was possibly easier to do the jelly thing. There were the usual issues: ID, configuring and reconfiguring, totally prehistoric. So it was pretty obvious the whole wireless access thing had to change, big time. And it did, with EduROM. It's a secure wireless access service that's truly awesome, because wherever you roam, you remain you. Just open your laptop and your username and password, checked at your home campus network, gets you accepted and able to use wireless access at any EduROM participating institution with internet access available. But protected stuff requires a further sign-on process. Awesome. EduROM just keeps getting better, and its future is all about mobility. Integrated with the latest in mobile technology, EduROM is set to bring on a whole bunch of super new stuff, accessible from a variety of pretty cool places. You'll be able to read emails, watch videos, catch up on study, on the move, and across many locations. And you'll only need one sign-on for seamless wireless access, available from a number of participating education and research networks, such as ARNet in Australia, as well as access to hundreds and growing wireless hotspot sites globally. EduROM. Wireless access you should mess with. Seriously. Speak to your research or education institution today about making use of EduROM services.
Okay, so that is something done by Australian Research and Education Network, ARNet, on EduROM. So EduROM is kind of a Wi-Fi network that allows you to connect from anywhere it is located or it is broadcasted. So here in Sri Lanka, we provide EduROM from around 2014, and now we have around 25 institutes that provide EduROM connectivity around the country. So you can go to edurom.ac.lk/participants.html web page and look at the places where you can find edurom. So the question is whether you can use eduid with edurom. Yes. So if you have an eduid username, you can use it for connecting with the edurom. For that particular purpose, you have to use your username as your username at eduid.lk. So for that previous example, where Dushmantha was using, his username was like DSW, then the edurom username would be dsw@eduid.lk, and the password should be the same password as you entered in your system. I will demonstrate that system, in a later stage and show how to connect. So with the edurom, as I said earlier, there are like 25 institutes around the country. And then very recently we had an initiative called Public Edurom, where we enabled around 175 locations around the country where they provided free Wi-Fi hotspots. So, sometimes back there were, the government started pushing free Wi-Fi zones around the country. So what we did was like we used those free hotspots to enable edurom. So still the first stage, we are still using a single ISP. We are outsourcing the service from a single ISP, and from that particular ISP you will get around 170 locations around the country, and maybe within the year or maybe within the next year, we will be expanding this into other ISPs as well. So here you will get the edurom connectivity in any of those locations, and the connectivity is given by and funded by Learn. So it will be allowing you free internet when you access from those locations, and that will allow you uninterrupted connectivity as you have internet at your university or at your institute, and you can use it for whatever your academic purposes. But keep in mind that all these connections, all these networks will be monitored. So please don't use them, those networks, those free accesses, for unwanted or unlawful things. So there are several examples like the railway stations around the country. For example, the Colombo Fort railway station, Kandy railway station, the Jaffna railway station, and then some temples, public libraries, schools, bus stands. All of them are currently available in this system. So you can go to edurom.ac.lk and look at the nearest locations where you can find these free public edurom hotspots. Then there was a question during the last session where they can do edurom around the country, around the world. So this is the edurom around the world. So the dark area, the blue color area, is the places where you can have edurom. And if you are roaming through those countries, you can use eduid or any other edurom based username password in those locations. But please keep in mind that those connections will have different limitations based on the country. Then coming up to the SSO part, there's a system called single sign-on where we use this same username and password and use that system to authenticate into different systems. So that is called single sign-on, where you only sign in once and then you have the access to different systems, softwares, without the overhead of having making it remember and having it in different places. So there are universities who provide SSO username password, and then again we as EduID, we provide you the SSO username and password. So one of those services was this Microsoft Office 365, which was earlier described, and then there are other services through different places that are enabled using EduID. So these different places are connected to something called an Identity Access Federation. So here Learn have an Identity Access Federation, which is called LIAF. So there are several members in this LIAF Federation, and all these members can share their systems and provide these SSO logins for their users. So this SSO can be used to do the remote access into different systems, specifically things like these library systems, the journal systems, they can be associated with this SSO. So you don't have to stick with the IP-based authentication anymore. And then as a general list down, Learn provided different video conferencing solutions from the beginning of the Learn. And now through EduID, we provide Microsoft Teams as the video conferencing solution for everyone. So any staff or student can use Microsoft Teams freely during their EduID period. Then the other thing is this EduGain. So EduGain is an interfederation where the number of federations like Learn Identity Federation get together, and then where they publish their users and where they publish their services. So at the moment, there are like thousands of different services where you can use EduID through EduGain. So you can go to that link given in the slide and find those services. And I have listed a few of them. Things like this ORCID ID, or ORCID.org, or the ORCID ID, where researchers use to have a common ID. You can do the authentication on that ORCID ID using EduID. And then the science data. Science data is kind of a place where you can have a Google Drive kind of a space, but your data will be within the R&E community. So you don't have to worry about the privacy of your data. It will be within the R&E community, and it won't be sold out like what the other enterprise clouds do. So you don't have to worry about your data. And then there are several file sender applications provided by different enrons. So one is this filesender.giant, where Giant is the enron belongs to the Europe. So file sender is used to send larger files. If you want to send a large file, maybe few terabytes from one place to another place, maybe within the country, or maybe within maybe to some other country. Maybe let's say you want to share something from, if you are a student or a staff of University of Colombo, you can share one of your large files, large data sets, let's say some terabytes, then you can share it using these file sender services to anyone around the world with these services. So you just have to simply share that with that connectivity. And then Jupyter Computational Environment will provide you different VMs for a limited time, where you can do different computational activities. Again, the Chem Compute for the computational chemistry related content. The data observation network of Earth and the Ocean Observatory will again give you access through EduID to do research if you are interested in that area. I will simply go to a small demo how you log into these systems. So this is indico.learn.ac.lk, which is the event manager for Learn, and you can use indico.learn.ac.lk for managing your events as well. So if you may remember, all of these participants were using Indico to register for this webinar. So we have created several workshops within this Indico for the past few years, and all these conferences type content were managed using this system. So using EduID, you can use you can log in to this system, so that it can be done using this login, and then you don't have to using your username and password directly here won't work even in any other service. So this is the example, but all the other services will be the same. There will be an in-house username password system in any other service like this Indigo has. What you have to do is you have to select institutional sign-in. Once you select institutional sign-in, it will give you a list of institutes that are available to log in. For example, this one, some university, and then a research institute, and again a university. So there are a large list of institutes that are available through this system. So here you have to search for EduID. Once you select EduID, you will see there are different EduID systems available through this system, and then you have to select specifically EduID Sri Lanka. Once you select EduID Sri Lanka, it will direct you to the login page of eduid.lk. So I will log in using the demo user that was created. CMB 2018100 CMB, and then I will paste the password. Once you log into any service, any particular service using the SSO, it will give you a consent manager where you have to allow or where you have to accept these kind of attributes of your user. So here what you are seeing is you are going to allow these data to this particular service. So this is asking whether you want to accept that or not. So if you don't feel you are okay to allow your personal data to a particular service, then you can simply click reject. Then you will be automatically opt out from the system. So if you want to access, you definitely have to click accept. Then for the Indigo, again, it will ask for your name. I'll just enter something. And then you can create your Indigo profile. Once you create your Indigo profile, you will receive several emails, several verification emails. Again, you can simply use your EduID without any other issue on this system. So at the moment, this workshop is restricted to create events, but let's say I'll use this test area. Here, within the test area, you can create any event like a lecture or maybe an event or maybe a conference. So for example, if I go to meetings, you can give a title and then you can create the meeting and do the management of your system. So that is what single SSO means. And then let's say if you want to go into another service, for example, let's go into one of the listed services. let's say you want to go to sciencedata.dk, then it will ask you to log in. So there are several options how to log in, and for them the default login would be login via institution. So you have to click this login via institution. And here again, you have to select your institute as eduid Sri Lanka. Then now you will be directed to a similar window like this, where it again asks whether you want to allow these data to be read by that particular system. So you have to accept that. Now you will be able to access these systems as a signed in user. So you can see that you are now logged in as the demo user, and you can use Science Data website to share or upload your data. So that is how the SSO works. To further describe the SSO part, I will again go to a small video where I do a nice explanation of that.
Today, online services are crucial to research and education. Students, teachers, researchers and institution staff rely on them for collaboration through webmail, e-learning, teaching and conferencing, analysing and sharing data, and for accessing journals and libraries. But how do users access all the services they need? How do universities, museums, schools, research centres, teaching hospitals and other research and education institutions benefit from their users coming together with more services? And how do the services reach local or global customers? With inter-federation, everybody wins. Here's how it works. Usually, every online service requires a separate account. This can be a headache. Service providers have to manage huge numbers of accounts and details, and users have to juggle multiple usernames and passwords, which also weakens security. But many research and education institutions provide their users with a single online identity. This gives access to all the services that are available locally within the institution. To bring together a wider pool of users and services, research and education identity federations were created to build trust between the identity-providing institutions and service providers. By participating in a federation, an institution can rapidly and cheaply expand the range of services it offers to its users, making it a more attractive place to work or study. Users need only the one trusted identity from their institution to access participating services. They can instantly start to work and collaborate. Participating services also win. They get a larger audience of users, and with the identity providers handling the users' accounts, there's reduced overhead for accounts and user support, so the cost per user is lowered. All these benefits are taken to an international level when identity federations interlink through the EduGain service. With inter-federation, institutions can further expand their range of services to include those from other federations. Institutions can also choose only trusted services and control which user data to release to preserve user privacy. With interfederation, services can access an international audience, again at a lower cost per user, And these are users who are trusted by their identity-providing institutions. Service providers need sign up with only one federation instead of with them all separately. This saves more time, effort and money, and is the most efficient way to reach global users. To help interfederation happen securely, agreements protect the international transfer of data. This international collaboration between federations allows users and services from around the world to interconnect. And this is made possible through EduGain. The EduGain Interfederation Service is provided by GÉANT, the Pan-European Research and Education Networking Project, and in collaboration with project partners and other organisations concerned with building identity federations around the world. Your identity federation is part of all this, helping to connect users and services from around the world at a local level.
Okay, so that is what EduGain and how it works. So there was a question whether we have connected EduPack. So EduPack is kind of a paid service, and at the moment it is not available through the system. There was a question regarding the library systems. So whether you can use library systems using this system. Yes, library systems can be used with these linked accounts, but there are limitations where EduID cannot be used to access these journal systems, because most of these journal systems are paid services and we are not still giving the subscription through EduID, but the university-based or institute-based username passwords can be used through Learn Identity Access Federation for that. Then the next example where you can use EduID would be the EduVPN. And EduVPN is kind of a VPN service, a direct VPN service to your NREN, to your research and education network. So there are around 10 to 15 countries that support EduVPN at the moment, and Sri Lanka is one of the countries. So if you go to this eduvpn.se.lk, you can download the EduVPN client for your operating system of your computer, or maybe to your mobile device, Windows, Linux, Mac OS, Android, iOS, anything. And then you have to select Sri Lanka, and after that you have to select EduID as your identity provider. EduID Sri Lanka have to be selected as your identity provider, and then using your username and password, you can connect into this EduVPN system. So EduVPN system will give direct access from your home to your NREN, not to your institute particularly. So the importance of EduVPN is, if you are using an untrusted hotspot, if you are using some public network, or if you don't have EduRoam when you are doing roaming, you can log into those untrusted networks and use EduVPN to connect into your national research and education network, where your traffic will be securely delivered to your destination. So that is the basic idea of having EduVPN, and to protect your privacy while you are doing roaming and while you are using insecure Wi-Fi networks. Then again, we have another service called short URL service that is available through url.se.lk, and this short URL service can be, or the URL shortener can be used only to short ac.lk subdomain. So if you are hosting something, if you are a staff member and if you are hosting some URL within your university website or within your student or staff space given to you through your university. And if it contains a URL belongs to the ac.lk domain, you can use that URL to shorten using this service freely. Then without EduID, but with any other university ID system, you can use library systems. So I included this slide because most of you asked about that. So you can't log into these systems using EduID still, but using your university username passwords, if they have provided you different username and password, you can use them to log into different journal systems, and you can check something like find your institute or login through your institute in that particular journal. So here I am just illustrating two, Emerald Insight and the Elsevier. So there you can see Sri Lankan universities listed. You just have to click that and then you will be redirected to your login page. So EduID is not there still, but you can use your own university or higher educational institutes username password if they are subscribed. So one thing to mention, these are paid services, and most of the universities have to pay for those services to be listed. So that is why we are not listing EduID yet. Okay, and thank you for this short and quick slide set. And are there any questions? Yeah, we will upload the recording into YouTube and Facebook. You can use, you can see the recording from YouTube and Facebook. Yeah, so this SSL login can be associated with any of your Moodle systems or any LMS system. Currently, we are not connected any EduID accounts with any of the Moodles, but if you want to connect, please put an email to me with your server details, and I will instruct you how to connect EduID, specifically EduID, into your LMS system. Okay, so at the moment, EduID is still free, so we will not be charging you anything, but the only attachment here is you have to be a member of Learn. So if you are a student or staff from Learn Institute or Learn Connected Institute, you can get the benefit of this. So there's no payments involved. And we will be sharing these slides as well, and we will be putting all the slides in the Indigo system where you got registered. So you just have to go there and download the slides later. Okay, so as we don't have questions anymore, I will go to the other slide. Okay, so Mahind, he is asking about the URL shortener. Yeah, so the URL shortener is so the URL shortener can be used to shorten your long URLs, but those URLs should belongs to ac.lk subdomain. So, for example, the login page to that, the event page of that Indigo system can be shortened using this URL ac.lk. I will give an example in the last slide where I use the URL ac.lk to shorten one of our URLs. Okay, so this is the quiz, and please try to answer this, and we will provide a small gift to the first 20 who succeed in the quiz. So the QR code again is the same thing. And we have another question from someone. We have the accounts for using Zoom. Will it be same with Dvid? Okay, so the Zoom, yeah. So if you have given an ID to log into Zoom, that means your university or your institute have a particular username ID system. So that can be used to any of these services that have the access through EduID as well. So the difference between the user university-based ID and the EduID is once you get out from the university, your user ID will be removed, but the EduID will be there for your lifelong as your lifelong ID. But the other thing, EduID cannot be used with Zoom because we are not providing Zoom services for EduID users. For that, you have to have a particular institute ID. Yeah, then Lakma Kanratna asked whether they can have SSO login for their university-based systems developments. Yes, any PHP, any Java, any application can be used with this SSO. So it is just a matter of connecting those applications with your system. So if you have a existing SSO in your university, in your institute, please contact your institute IT people, IT staff. They will help you in getting the support, or otherwise you can simply connect with EduID. We can provide that assistance. We also ask all the developers from the universities to use this SSO. It doesn't matter whether you are using the EduID or your university SSO, but please use SSO and try to remove all those individual different types of username and passwords for different applications. Okay, again, what about the VPN system? Yes, the VPN system, again, you can use VPN system to connect with Learn and connect with any other NREN in the list. Once you go into that system, you will be asked to select your country, and then you will be asked to select your identity provider. You can use EduID or you can use your institute ID if you like. So the basic idea of this is your traffic will be pushed to that particular NREN or the research network where you select, and your traffic will be put into the internet using that particular NREN. So if you use EduID Sri Lanka, and if you use Sri Lanka, then all your data will come to Learn and then go through Learn. This is basically to protect your privacy from untrusted networks in public places. There are no any other advantage of using a VPN. You will have an uninterrupted, unfiltered connection. That's all. But you will not get any advantages other than that, like free data or something like that, won't be there. Okay, so while we have the discussion, you can fill in the quiz and the feedback form along with that. If you have any questions, you can put them on the comment area of the Zoom, or you can type it in the Q&A session. So the form we are using to do this quiz comes from Microsoft Forms. You can use the same setup through EduID to have this Microsoft Forms, and then create different kind of questionnaires, different kind of forms, and interact with your students to do different interactive learning. Yeah, someone is asking whether you can access different institutes' research papers using EduID. If those research papers are available free of charge, but if they require some sort of institutional login, then you can use EduID. But if those papers are bound with any kind of a paid system or a subscription based system, then you cannot use the UID. You have to stick with your university credentials. Okay, so while you are entering this comment section, I will quickly demo the Edu VPN. So this is the Edu VPN application. So I have installed it after downloading from the particular URL. You will see something like this, but not this local part. So here it is listed because I have been already using this. You will see the demo. What you have to do is you have to click Add Provider, then use custom URL. Here you have to enter okay. One way of doing that is either clicking on the first icon in the list or using the use custom URL. If you are using custom URL is eduvpn.ac.lk, but the easier way is clicking on this first icon. Then it will list all the available countries that you can use EduVPN. So here on your first login, you have to select your home country. So for Sri Lanka, you have to select Sri Lanka, as we are Sri Lankans and we are connecting from Sri Lanka. So you cannot click in one of the other countries and see how it connects. And then so for us, we will select Sri Lanka, and then it will provide a pop-up like this for the use authentication. So here you have to select Edu ID, and then click continue. So here again you will be using the same username and password like earlier. Okay, I will go with the test user CMD. And then the password. And I have to accept this. So it will ask to approve the application. So I'm using EduVPN for macOS, and I approve that. Once I approve that, you will be asked to select whatever the country you want to connect. Now you can select any other location and then click connect. So for example, you can select Norway and click connect. I'm not going to connect because I will get dropped from the Zoom meeting if I connect now. So for this example, you can select any of these countries and get connect with the VPN system. But for the simplicity, again, I'm saying this will not make, don't take this, don't get this as free data. So you will not get free data from this once you use the VPN. This is only for the protection of your data privacy from not secured networks. Okay, so we'll go back to this one. And I will announce who got the results correct. And we have 2 more questions. The same question, like we from Laknath, he's asking, we are given a username password to Liaf to access Zoom. Can we use it to log in to any other service provided by EduID? Yes, you can use that particular username. So that particular username have been given to you by your university. And yes, it can be used to access any of the services that are provided through EduID, but except for the Microsoft services. So Microsoft services are only available through EduID. Okay, before ending the session, I will quickly announce the names of the people who have been selected with this quiz. So who won the quiz? So actually what we were looking at was like whether you know how learn works. So that is why we included some of those questions, and we can see the way how the users reacted. So Mahind is again asking whether he can get user EduID. Yes, please go to eduid.lk and get registered. You can get an EduID account. Okay, so now I got the names of the lucky winners, and we will be providing a 64 GB pen drive, and our team will be contacting you from by tomorrow, and they will post it from our office to your home, and they will ask you your residential addresses where we can post the pen drive to you. So the winners are like Lasika Madhav Munasinghe, P. Kobi Krishna, SP Dimutu Anuraj, Anjana Lakmal Karunaratna, Shamal Buddhika Gayani, JPK Jayakodi, SP Dimutu Anurag, and Sandaru. So those are the lucky winners who got the pen drives, and thank you for submitting those correct answers. So there were like 58 respondents, and out of that, most of them had different wrong answers. So all were corrected by Lasika, Kobi Krishna, Dimutu, Anjana, Lakmal, Shamal, Buddhika, Gayani, Jayakodi, Dimutu, and Sandaru. Okay, so this makes the end of the presentation, and as the final comment, I would like to thank all the behind ground of the webinar. This is the staff of Learn, and all of them were behind the scene and supporting me and Dushmanta. So would like to thank all of them, from our CEO to the newest guy. Thank you everyone, and thank you all for joining the webinar session and staying with us for these 2 hours. And we will be uploading the recordings, the slides shortly to the Indico webpage, and you can use those websites. You can use these slides and any of the recordings to refer later. Okay then, thank you everyone.